What's happening, everybody? JayShockblast here, and check it out. Finally, at long last, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. The movie is out in theaters this week, everywhere, for the most part, I'm pretty sure. And with this DLC, we have 8 new characters and a level pack, and this does bring to a conclusion the DLC for LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. We now have a character grid that is completely full of all the characters we're going to have. Obviously, we have Ant-Man here who can grow. Obviously nice and big. Pretty cool. We're pretty much used to that with Ant-Man at this point. So, there he is growing, shrinking back down. I don't know if Wasp grows. Does she grow? Nope. But she does that. Oh, no, she does grow. There you go. So we actually have Wasp that can grow. I don't know if that's a spoiler. She cannot fly in huge form. Oh, and she can stay growing. Oh, very nice. That is actually pretty cool. Usually you can't grow both characters, but in this case, you can. So, pretty awesome stuff. Obviously, this is the new Wasp costume and the new Ant-Man costume from the movie that's out this week. And they pretty much do what Ant-Man and the Wasp do in the game, other than the Wasp actually growing this time. And yeah, we're looking pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie this week. But there are 6 other characters that are not Ant-Man and the Wasp, so let's check them out. Now, this DLC did leak quite a while ago. People hacked the game and got the DLC out of the hacked files. So maybe you've seen some of these, maybe you haven't. But let's go ahead and get things going. First up right here we have Crossfire. And apparently this is a very classic Ant-Man and the Wasp villain. I don't actually know much about him, and I've known that he was going to be in this for a while, and I still didn't research it. But when it did leak, I kind of looked into it a little bit, and it looks like he's not as anonymous as I thought, so it does kind of make sure to have him in here. Obviously you can see Ghost in the background. I do like that animation. That is actually pretty dope for Crossfire. And yeah, so there's Ghost. Obviously she hovers. Now Ghost is actually a character that a lot of people might be familiar with if you ever played Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It looks like she flies. Obviously that's going to hopefully be explained in the movie. Ghost is, if you played Marvel Ultimate Alliance, maybe it's 2. I thought Ghost was in that, but Ghost is definitely a character if you played Marvel Heroes or Marvel Heroes Omega that you saw in cutscenes, especially when you go to Latveria and you're about to fight Dr. Doom. Ghost is a man in every other sense of Marvel Comics, but I guess they've decided to gender bend it here into a female character. I'm starting not to care about these lesser characters like Ghost. I mean, anybody can take the text or whatever. And it's such a minor character that I'm not going to sit here and make a big deal about it. Kind of looks like Ghost. Ghost is a, yeah, there you go. It does the stereo phase in and out. So Ghost is a teleporter, can phase through things. That's the big thing. The biggest time for Ghost in the comics was Civil War, I believe. And then it turned into the Thunderbolts. Ghost was in the Thunderbolts. So, it's a minor character, but during that kind of early, late 90s, early 2000s, kind of more like the early 2000s run where they did the Civil War, and then they had, Dark Reign and all that stuff. And even, right after, all of that is where Ghost kind of came into prominence, if you will. So Ghost is definitely a character that I'm intrigued to see them use in the movie. That's for sure. So we have 2 more characters there. Next up, alright, look, we have Egghead. And Egghead was in the last game, Lego Marvel's Avengers. And I don't know why we have Egghead again. I'm assuming it's because the level, if we actually go in, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Egghead's Eggs Capade. So obviously the level is based on Egghead. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played the level yet, so I don't really know what to expect, but I think Egghead is a very boring character, and I hope this is the last time we see him in a Lego Marvel game. I know it's also like the exact type of character that they go for. I don't know. I'm all set with Egghead moving forward, so hope they got that out of their system. Don't need him ever again. Next up we have Giant Man, Raz Malhotra. He is the current Giant Man, and if you were following Civil War II, he had a little bit of a prominent, appearance in there. I'm surprised they didn't use Lawrence Fishburne's version, but they might not have had access to him. I don't know if Lawrence Fishburne's version of Giant Man or Black Goliath or Goliath, however he is going to be portrayed, I don't know if that is something that we actually even see in the movie. I'm seeing the movie on Thursday, so we'll see what happens. But it would have been interesting to see that. But Raz Malhotra is definitely a close second as far as I'm concerned. It's definitely an interesting opportunity to get him involved in a little bit more, because he is the current Giant Man. I think Hank Pym might actually even be dead. I think he, like, Ultron, like, took his face, like, literally. Or he became Ultron, like, literally. So, yeah, man, we got Raz Malhotra. It looks like he can, like, jump onto some stuff. We'll look at all the cards in a minute. But he obviously grows, so we have another growing character. Next up we have the Human Fly, which is a really cool looking character, actually. I think he definitely looks cool, but I don't know, it doesn't do a whole heck of a lot for me personally. This is going into the Wayback Machine. This is a character that was definitely an Ant-Man and Wasp character for a very long time, and goes way, 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 way back into like the 60s, maybe 60s, 70s. And the vibe of the character definitely feels like Marvel, very Stan Lee Marvel, Jack Kirby Marvel. I don't know if they were the creators, but you kind of feel like with certain characters when you see them, you can see the influence. So, again, really a cool looking character, just very much fits the theme. So it's not a very well-known one. I don't know if there's a character we're going to see come back at any point. So next up, we have our last character, I believe, which is, what was her, Stinger? It's Cassie Lang. Yeah, Stinger. So this is Cassie Lang. So no stature, but we get the evil Cassie Lang. I believe she was not good in this form. Stature, I think a lot of people, I don't know, maybe would have preferred Cassie Lang as Stature, where she just grows. That was a Young Avengers version of Cassie Lang, and I think the one that most people know her as, and I think the one that we're gonna see moving forward, I believe she's been cast. So they've cast somebody as Cassie Lang, like an older version of Cassie Lang, because obviously in the movie it's a younger girl. So, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. So we can look at all their cards. We'll start with the Wasp over here. View character card. So we got Hope Van Dyne, not Janet Pym, or I guess it could be Janet Van Dyne, but this is the movie version. The other Wasp is, if we go up here, I think it's Janet Pym. Or Janet Van Dyne, they have her as. Okay. We also have Nadia Pym Wasp in another. There's like 3 different Wasps. But anyway, so if we look at her card right here, Hope Van Dyne, the daughter of, Hank Pym and Janet. Rotate the card. She's got hyper jump, flight, repair, acrobat, photo mode, so she can do selfies. Shrink, fuse box, target, vent, and technology. Hope is the daughter of Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne when Darren Cross attempts to create a weaponized suit of armor using Pym particles. Hope aided her father in recruiting Scott Lang and persuaded him to become the new Ant-Man after Cross's scheme was foiled. Hank Pym offered Hope her mother's suit, allowing her to finally take on Janet's legacy as the Wasp. So obviously this is the movie version. So here we have Cassie Lang as Stinger. Right there. And we can rotate this over. Flight, repair, dig, acrobat, hyper jump, photo mode, also selfies, shrink, fuse box, vent travel, technology, and target. She's got lots of stuff. Inspired by her father Scott Lang, Cassie wanted to be a hero just like him. She grew up around the Avengers in the Avenger Mansion, intent on joining them, secretly exposing herself to the Pym particles that her father used to grow and shrink. After the death of her father, Cassie joined the Young Avengers using the Pym particles she had in her body to match her father's abilities and called herself Stinger. So this is 1979. I thought she went bad at some point. I might be wrong, obviously. But so next up we have the Human Fly. Sonar, hyper jump, flight, acrobat, target, and wall climbing. So yeah, actually Amazing Spider-Man number 10 is where he showed up, 1976. So not the 60s. Having escaped from prison, Deacon, so this is Richard Deacon. Deacon was on the run and injured when he stumbled into genetic laboratory. Deacon forced the scientists to save his life and give him powers imprinted with his genetic code on a housefly. Deacon became the Human Fly. However, what he gained in superpowers he lost in humanity as he began to act more and more fly-like, even once being spotted eating garbage. Alright, so here we have Raz Malhotra. There's actually a hockey player named Manny Malhotra at one point. Anyway, fuse box, shrink, repair, acrobat, targeted, technology, vent travel. Malhotra was a talented programmer in the field of AI who came into the attention of the villain Egghead. After being rescued by Hank Pym from Egghead's clutches, he remained in contact with Pym, who, appreciating his talents and potential, sent Malhotra the Giant Man suit. While his first forays into crime fighting went awry, he was trained up by Scott Lang and became worthy of the suit's use as Giant Man. So he came in Ant-Man Annual 2015. So here we have Ghost. Unknown. So repair, silver Lego blow up, electricity, acrobat, flight, toxic gas protection, toxic goo. Does everything, invisibility, photo mode, hyper jump, electricity, technology, teleportation. A mysterious figure whose name is feared and whispered among the criminal underworld because of her ability to phase through solid walls. No one is sure of Ghost's true identity or what she's after, but she seems awfully interested in Hank and Hope's latest tech. Her terrifying mindset makes her truly a formidable foe. You have Egghead. Oh my god. Time to get to train. Technology, target, mind control, repair, and teleportation. Interesting. Star, this is Elias Star, was a brilliant scientist corrupted by greed who entered the criminal world in order to escape prosecution for attempting to sell atomic research he had stolen. Named Egghead by his former fellow criminals due to his intelligence, he used his genius to concoct various schemes and devices to defeat his enemies, leading the masters of evil for a time. He is frequent thorn in Ant-Man's side, having battled with him on numerous occasions. So, character Tales of Astonishing 1962 as Egghead. So this might actually be Darren Crossfire. William Cross. So core attributes: fire protection, silver Lego blow up, dig, acrobat, mind control, target, technology, and tracking. Cross was once a member of the CIA, but he joined only to give him the skills for future in crime. Sounds like Killmonger. After he left, he set up a number of criminal enterprises going by the name Crossfire, but soon fell afoul of an enemy and was badly injured. Having numerous body parts replaced by cybernetic equipment, he continued his criminal activities, only this time much deadlier, using his new technology along with brainwashing devices he had created to further his efforts. Marvel 2-in-1, 1979. He looks like an old G.I. Joe that I used to love called Lifeline. Then last but not least, we have Mr. Ant-Man himself from Ant-Man and Wasp. This is obviously Scott Lang. And he does all the Ant-Man stuff. I'm not even going to bother going through it. Oh, he has the Drax, targeted lunge. Anyway, struggling to support his family, Scott Lang turned his talent for electronics to crime, breaking into a home with Henry Pym. He unknowingly stole the Ant-Man suit, eventually putting it to use to save the life of his own daughter. Impressed, Pym let Lang keep the suit, provided he put it to lawful use, taking on the mantle of Ant-Man and redeeming himself of his past crimes. Scott has become a worthy successor of the title. So, there you go, guys. Ant-Man and the Wasp is in theaters this Thursday. I don't know if it's out other places in the world, but here in the U.S. it is this week. And we just reenacted a scene from the movie. Oh, apparently he can swim as a big pig. But anyway, looking forward to seeing the movie. I'm hoping it's as funny as the first one. And we're going to play the level soon. Hope everybody enjoyed, and we'll see you.